Hello, happy stampers. Kate here with Kate's Paper Creations. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Washington State, and I'm here to share with you a current catalog card that I am making. It uses products from the new Stampin' Up! Fall Mini Catalog. And let me go through what we're going to be using today. I'm going to be using the Pretty Pumpkins stamp set. It does have a bundle and it has dies that go with it, but today we're going to be using the stamps only. Then I'm also going to be using this Meadow Moments embossing folder, and I'm going to be using this one that has the leaves and the polka dots. And we'll show you that in a minute. The colors I'm using today are Pear Pizzazz, Cajun Craze, Crushed Curry, Cinnamon Cider, and Pumpkin Pie. And they are primarily markers that I'm going to be using. Oh, there's an Evening Evergreen in there as well. So those are primarily the markers I'm going to be using. I'm also going to be using a blender pen and those same colors with the ink pads. So let me show you. I did a similar video using this technique of embossing and coloring the embossing on the 6th of this month, so you can look back in my videos and see that, or on my blogs for September 6th, and you'll be able to see those that I did, how I did those there as well. So I started out with very vanilla thick. It's cut 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. We're going to be making a top fold A2 greeting card. And the first thing I'm going to do is emboss that piece on the front. And yes, when I emboss it, it does show up on the inside as well. And I like it like that. I don't have a problem with that. If you do, then you could layer your pieces and emboss it and then attach a layer. But this is how I'm going to do it. Figure out which side is the side I want for the front. And I want this part that stands up to be on the front. So it's going to go like this. I'm going to line that edge of that folder up with the edge of the card fold, and you can do it pretty easily because the score mark is there. Yeah, that'll work. And then when you're embossing with the regular embossing folders, all you have to do for your sandwich is remove the number 2 plate. Take that out and use 2 cutting plates. Cutting plate, main platform, cutting plate. I'm going to do it this way, and then a cutting plate. Now, the reason you want to put it on this way is because when you're running it through your Stampin' Cut emboss machine, you want to stop short. You don't want to go all the way through and let it come over that edge, because it will create a line on your card, and you don't want to do that. So you want to feel for it, and you can feel it as you're getting through there. When you're getting close to the edge here, you're going to want to stop and then back it out. And that way you won't get a mark here on your card, okay? You'll be able to feel it. And so it's going to go in with this end first. So put this on here, and we'll run it through. Just take a second here. And like I say, you can feel it, and you can also kind of see, and if you don't get every little polka dot towards the bottom, it's going to be okay. You just don't want to click over that edge. I haven't had any trouble sensing when it was time to stop. So there is that. Put that away. And it came out perfect, see? Not difficult to do at all. And then I used a blender pen, and I colored those. I think I was using the other end. Let's use that. And I just started with whatever color. So I'm going to start with Pear Pizzazz. And you can see where the edges of the raised portions are, and you can just fill them in with your blender pen. Just get yourself some variety, kind of move around and do different ones. While I've got you here, I'll remind you that Celebration is still going on, and you can still get free products from the Celebration catalog for the $50 increments in merchandise. There are a couple of things that take two $50 increments to purchase, but most of them are just one $50 increment and you get a free item. And my link to my online store is in the description box below, and you can link to my store and order from me there. I also send a thank you gift to everyone who orders $50 or more from me through my online store and uses the host code. You have to use the host code to qualify for the free thank you gift, because that's how I get the free thank you gifts, is by using those points. So just want to let you know, I like to send thank you gifts to my customers, and sometimes they're big and sometimes they're small. Sometimes they're a set of blender pins, sometimes lens pins, sometimes they're Stampin' Dimensionals, sometimes it's a discontinued stamp set that I think they would like, that would go with something they've ordered or whatever. So I do hope that you'll consider shopping with me. One thing nice about the shopping online is that your order's processed right away. It doesn't have to wait till the workshop closes, and that's good enough for the green. We're going to move on to another color, and it gets shipped directly to your door. And I just clean this blender pen by rubbing sideways, getting the worst of the color off. You don't have to get it all off. It will work just fine. I'm going on to Cajun Craze now, and I'm going to add some of those. And so right now, because of the new COVID surge and what's going on, which makes me sad, it's nice that you can get your order shipped direct to your door. You don't have to go out and get it or pick it up. And so it's basically no contact. Now, if you look really, really close at these when you're doing them, just keep your fingers, your touch kind of light, and it really will work. Especially on those stems. Just the lighter the touch, the better. And actually, it's kind of fun to color sometimes, I think. It can be very relaxing. As long as you don't get in a big hurry, it can be quite relaxing and a lot of fun. And just be a touch of relaxation. Seeing lots and lots of that in the light of the tension that everybody's under with the current issues. And so it's rather nice to be able to have some time to just kick back. That's what I like about my stamping studio. I think that's enough of the Cajun Craze. We're going to stop there. And we're going to move on to crushed curry. I kind of turn the pen so I get all the sides clean. That's a darker color, so it's harder to get it clean, but it's coming. There we go. Okay, then I'm going to use crushed curry next. These just struck me as being really nice fall colors. You know, I don't know about you, but as soon as fall comes, I immediately start thinking of thankfulness. You know, I don't know, fall and thankful just go together, I guess, because of Thanksgiving, how we've celebrated it for so long, and it's just good to be thankful not only to each other, but to our God who supplies everything we need. And so it's just a good reminder to be thankful. But these cards don't have to always be thankful. Fall colors can actually be used for other cards as well, I think. So it's just a matter of using them for that. It could be a more masculine card because it's not so flowery and yet it's still quite lovely. So you could use them for a more masculine card at other times of the year. Get brave and use some different colors. Maybe try using some non-traditional colors for your leaves. Do them in bright pinks or something. And that might be kind of a fun thing to do. If any of you do that and you'd like to share them with me, I'd love to have you send me your pictures. I might feature them on my blog. And let's see, what do we need? Need one more, I think, somewhere. Let's see. Where? I think this one right here needs to be this color. It's fun when you're doing this too, because you're never going to do two the same. So even though they're basically the same, they're going to have a little bit different look, each one. Okay, that's the crushed curry. Let's see, I've done Cajun Craze, Pear Pizzazz, crushed curry. Oh, cinnamon cider's next. This is kind of a fun brown color for leaves. You know, leaves turn kind of a brownish orange sometimes in the fall. And that's what I liked about this cinnamon cider, is that it gives me that fall brown orangish color. It's not a dark dead looking brown. It's got some nice color to it. And I do like these blender pens. You know, when we started selling the blends pens, I had a hard time switching from these to those because I was so used to using these to add. I added shading and everything using these, and it's not hard to do. And so I had to finally break down and make myself start using the blends pens, and I have done that. And now I'm going, oh, but you know, sometimes these do come in handy, so I'm glad we still have them for this kind of thing, for coloring these things. You could probably do these with blends pens as well, but I will tell you, I kind of like the color variations, the shading variations that just naturally occur. Excuse me. That just naturally occur when you're using the blender pens. You don't have to work it in, it just naturally happens. Okay, there's all the leaves all colored. That didn't take too long. Okay, so the first thing we're going to stamp on here is the large pumpkin that has all these lovely colors, and I wanted it to have a variety of colors, so we're going to use markers. And this is kind of excuse me, this is kind of a fun thing to do. It can be a little bit challenging, but I'm going to start with cinnamon cider, and I'm going to color the stem, and I'm going to run it around this outside border all the way around. Now, there is some concern with people when we do this that the inks will dry out and you won't get a good picture. Let me tell you, it's not that difficult. I didn't have any problem at all. We can do where we blow our breath on it, and it can re-moisten the ink. So I didn't have any problem with it. Okay, here's crushed curry, and I just picked various leaf styles that I would do with each color. And you're going to kind of put your brush, use the brush end, and you're going to kind of just do it kind of on its side just a little bit, and it covers really well and quite quickly actually. And we're not into perfection here, so just do your best. You know, you can see when it's coloring the image, you can see it doing it. It works. Okay, let's do this one next, which is the Cajun Craze. And let's see, I did this leaf with the Cajun Craze. That's my clock. I have a clock that chirps birds on the hour. So if you heard that, that's what that is. Let's see, we got another one here somewhere. Here it is. It's especially easy with these darker colors because they show up really well on your pad, on your stamp, I should say. Okay, there's that one. And then I need some Pear Pizzazz. Get the brush end of that one. And I'm going to do this one. and this one, and this one. You can see I'm not being super particular here. It's just okay. I think that was those. I'm going to bring in some pumpkin pie, and I'm going to do these little sprigs that are in here with the pumpkin pie. That one. And that one, there's a little bit of something there. Come down here and do this one. This is the most time-consuming part of this project. I'm going to do this section right there. There's some, basically I just came in with the pumpkin pie and finished off everything. Let's see, I haven't done this one. This is an old olive. Let's put some old olive over here. That looks good. And then I did the maple leaves with, oh, I missed one. Let's do that one with old olive as well. This one right here. Okay, and then I did the maple leaves with evening evergreen. Boy, that's a nice dark color. You can definitely see where that one's going. No problemos. Best to start with your lightest colors first, then do your darker colors. They will cover up a lot of maybe little mistakes that you might make, and you won't get light ink, dark ink on your lighter markers if you happen to overlap a little bit. So that's what I suggest. Okay, there's that stamp. Now I'm just going to blow on it. And I am going to, my pumpkin is going to go over this one little dot right here. I'm going to press that out with my bone folder, because then it won't leave a spot, and I'll show you how that happened, how I know that. Okay, so right here like that. Press it really good, and voila. So I don't know if you can see it, but on this card there was a little one of those polka dots, and of course the stamp did not stamp there, so then I had to try and kind of color it in. That's why I watched for it this time, and I made sure that that polka dot was pressed out of the way so it would get a good look. Now I stamped a pumpkin. I cut it out so I could make a small mask. When you're making a mask, you always make it just a little bit smaller than, just like a 1/16 of an inch smaller than your original, because then it doesn't leave the white gaps between when you're masking. And so you're going to see me put this on here and let this part of the pumpkin show. Okay, just a little tiny bit of that edge is going to show. So with removable adhesive. Okay, next we're going to stamp this 3 pumpkin image, and I didn't want to do this with black. I decided to stamp this with the cinnamon cider first, and so it's going to have kind of a brown edge, and it's going to overlap just a little bit. So let's get it in here. There we go. And then we'll be coloring that with my blender pen and pumpkin pie and pear pizzazz. So I'm going to do the stems and the leaves with pear pizzazz. We can peel up this mask. You can see how it just really lovely went behind. Looks like it's got some dimension there. I want this to be fairly light, and I got some orange in there. I need to clean this just a little bit better before I go any further. Yeah, that should be better. There we go. And I don't want my leaves to get too dark. The stem I don't mind so much, but I want the leaves to be a little bit lighter so I can come back and do some of that blending I was telling you about. You just do a little bit lighter color at first. Go very lightly with your blends pen. You can always take color away after you've touched it onto your ink pad. One thing is, I did stamp this with the same kind of ink. If you play around with it too much, you're going to mess with your outline. So just don't get too fussy. Just make a quick coloring of it, because if you fuss too much, it's going to start to bleed that outline. Now I'm coming back with my blender pen being a little bit darker in the green, and I'm going to kind of go over those marks that are in the leaf and kind of add just a little bit of accent or shading, whatever you want to call it. Put some up on the stem as well. And then I'm going to do my best to get them little curly cues. And you got to go really light. And it's going to come outside the edges just a little bit. But it's okay. Don't be so perfectionistic that you can't just enjoy it. There we go. So there's the green. We'll clean up that blender pen again. And we're going to be using pumpkin pie. Now, if you don't want to take the time to clean your pen in between, you could obviously just use other pens because they come 3 to a set. So that's not so bad. Okay, again, I'm going to want to color these a little bit lighter and save the darker for these accents. So I'm going to go ahead and do the accents while my pen has got lots of ink on it. And then I can come back when it's started to get lighter. And there, it's getting lighter now, so I'm going to come in here and just start coloring it in. And here we go. It's coming together pretty quick. I appreciate you checking in to watch my videos. I do 3 of them a week. I do a casing the catalog video where I case the catalog sometimes exactly, sometimes not. And just to show you and hopefully inspire you, because I know that typically for me, what I see in the catalog is what inspires me to buy a set. And then I get it home, and sometimes I go, oh, what do I do with it? And so I do try to offer variety, and that's why once a week I offer a current catalog video, and those are always original cards to me. I don't imitate anybody else's designs. I'm going to come back and add a little bit more now for accents. And so once a week you get a current catalog video and blog. And then once a week I also do this hashtag simple stamping, where I do a simple card, and then because simple cards are just simple, I'm going to add just a little bit more here and here. I like it. I think that's enough for that one. Okay, now the last thing, I stamped this on a piece of sticky note as well. And I cut out just this side of the pumpkin part because that's all I needed. And I'm going to put it down here like this. And I'm going to bring in the last piece here that I'm going to be stamping, and that's these lovely little cluster of leaves, because you know pumpkins have those big long vines that just go out everywhere. And I'm going to stamp it with green and then color it with green. And I'm just going to stamp it there. And it looks like it's coming out from under that. These stencils, or no, masks that I make, I often just stick them right inside my stamp set box and keep them with it, so I don't have to make them again if I decide to come back and use them. Okay, then I'm going to still be using my blender pen, and we'll clean it up again. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. And we're going to color this with the Pear Pizzazz. Tone on tone. that in there. So yeah, I have the 3 videos a week, and I started out, I was doing 4, and that was a little too much. 3 sometimes can get a little bit challenging to make, but the casing, the catalog ones are pretty simple because I'm just using somebody else's ideas and just figuring out how it's made, and then letting you know all the details of how I put it together. So that one's not too difficult. The most difficult ones are the ones like this one, where it's an original design, and I'm gonna add to this. I'm not sure why that didn't, but I'm going to add to it, make it look like the stem's coming out there. Okay, so there is that part. And then the sentiment that I have, this Gather Together, is also in the Pretty Pumpkins stamp set. And I'm going to stamp it with Cajun Craze. I love that dark, rich color. And make sure it's inking well. And then it's just a matter of putting it where it will fit. I think right here is going to work. And there it is. So there is today's current catalog video and blog. Hope you'll visit my blog as well. And I hope you enjoyed today's installment. Isn't that lovely? Just so pretty. You could add to these as well. You could bring in some bling with some of the you could do the artisan sequins or any kinds of gems or anything, and give it some bling as well if you wanted to. I didn't do that today. Okay, thanks for stopping by. Check out the links below. Shop my online store. Have a great day.